The Galactic Embassy on Station Helios 9 was quiet that evening, lit by soft blue lights from the outer rings. Human engineer Ethan Cole sat alone at a table, his uniform still dusty from work on the reactor core. Around him, dozens of alien diplomats and soldiers laughed in strange, echoing tones. He was the only human there, as usual. Across the room stood Arya Valen, a tall alien woman from the Valari Dominion. Her silver eyes shone like mirrors, and her long hair shifted color like liquid metal. She was known as a sharp-tongued strategist, not someone who smiled easily. Yet tonight, for some reason, she glanced his way again and again. Ethan didn't belong in the fancy reception hall, but his repairs earlier that day had prevented a full meltdown in the embassy's power grid. The Valari Queen herself had insisted he attend. He had no intention to mingle, though. Humans were still a rare sight beyond the Sol sector, and most aliens either pitied or mocked them. Arya, however, didn't look away. Their eyes met for a second longer than was polite. Ethan chuckled under his breath, took a sip of his drink, and said softly, half joking, "You'd make a cute wife." He never meant for her to hear it, but she did. Her silver eyes widened slightly. In the next second, she walked toward him, her boots tapping softly on the crystal floor. The room's hum faded as a dozen alien heads turned in surprise. Arya stopped right in front of him, studying his face with unnerving calm. "Human," she said slowly, "you make dangerous jokes." Ethan smiled, trying to play it off. "Sorry, didn't mean to offend. Just my sense of humor." Her expression softened, but only a little. "You call me a cute wife. Do you even know what that means in Valari culture?" Probably not. "In our language, such words are a proposal of life bond," she said. "You just offered yourself as a husband." Ethan nearly spilled his drink. "Wait, what?" No, it's just a human saying." Her lips curved, not quite a smile, but close. "Then perhaps," she murmured, leaning slightly closer, "you should choose your words carefully next time. Because if a Valari accepts, it becomes binding under interspecies accord." He blinked, unsure if she was serious, but then her gaze softened further. "Still," she added, "I've never been proposed to by a human before. Lucky for you. I'm not the serious kind," he said, trying to regain some confidence. "Then you'll be disappointed," she replied. "Because I am." Before he could answer, an alarm cut through the hall. Red lights flashed. Guards rushed to their posts. A robotic voice echoed through the comm system. "Security breach in the lower docking ring. Unknown vessel approaching." The laughter and music vanished instantly. Arya turned to her aide and issued quick commands in her language. Ethan set down his glass. His instincts from Earth's frontier colonies kicked in. Trouble always found humans one way or another. The floor shook as the first explosion hit. Windows rattled and a low-row Arya drew her blade, a curved, glowing weapon that hummed faintly in the air. "Then we stop them." Ethan glanced at her. "You sure you're not a diplomat?" She smiled faintly. "Not tonight." They moved together. Arya leapt forward in a flash of silver light, her blade cutting through the first raider's rifle. Ethan used his toolkit to overload a nearby power conduit. Sparks exploded, throwing the second raider off balance. Arya finished him with precision, but the third turned his weapon on her. Ethan didn't think. He grabbed a metal rod and slammed it into the raider's visor. The alien fell with a crash. For a moment, silence returned. Then Ethan looked at her, breathing hard. "You okay?" She wiped the edge of her blade. "Better than okay. You fight well for a human engineer," he grinned. "And you fight like someone who just might make a cute wife." This time she didn't scold him. Instead, she looked at him for a long moment and said softly, "Then you should be careful what you wish for." Her voice had changed, softer, almost uncertain. Ethan froze. He couldn't tell if she was teasing or serious, but there was something in her tone that made his heart skip. Outside, the station sirens began to fade. Security teams rushed in. The emergency lights turned blue again. Arya turned toward the main console, her hair shifting to a calm silver tone. "We'll speak later," she said. "About your proposal." "My what?" He started, but she was already walking away, leaving him in the hum of the reactor's glow. He stared after her, confused, amused, and just a little nervous. Somewhere in the back of his mind, he realized this wasn't over, not by a long shot. And for the first time in months, he actually looked forward to what came next. The next morning, the Helios 9 station floated quietly above the glowing blue rings of the nearby planet. Repair drones hummed through the corridors, sealing blast doors and patching hull fractures from the previous night's attack. Ethan Cole sat beside a cracked viewport, his uniform smeared with grease, watching the sunrise spread over the gas giant below. He hadn't slept. His mind kept replaying the moment Arya had walked away after saying, "We'll speak later about your proposal." He sighed and rubbed his face. "Proposal," he muttered. "She's probably just teasing me." A soft chime sounded and the door behind him slid open. When he turned, there she was, Arya Valen, dressed in sleek dark armor with the Valari emblem across her shoulder. Her eyes shimmered like molten silver under the morning light. "You didn't come to the command briefing," she said. "I'm just the mechanic," Ethan replied. "Didn't think I was invited. You stopped a sabotage that could have killed hundreds." "That makes you more than a mechanic," she said firmly. Ethan stood, trying to read her expression. "And you're, what, a strategist? A soldier? Or a princess who pretends not to be one?" Her lips curved faintly. "Perhaps all of them. Or none." Before he could answer, the floor trembled slightly. The vibration of distant thrusters. Arya looked toward the window. "The raiders escaped into the debris field. The Valari Council ordered me to pursue them. I want you to come." "Me? Why me?" "You're the only one who can stabilize their stolen core module. Without it, they'll turn the debris field into a weapon." Ethan hesitated. "I'm an engineer, not a soldier." She stepped closer. "You're human," she said softly. "You don't realize how rare that already makes you." He frowned. "That's supposed to be a compliment?" "In a way," she said. "You people never know when to stop trying." "That's what makes you dangerous and valuable," Ethan smirked. "So you're saying I'm stubborn?" "Exactly," she replied with a small nod. Moments later, they were aboard Arya's ship, the Varine's Light, a sleek vessel shaped like a blade of crystal. As they left the station, Ethan took the co-pilot seat. Surrounded by glowing Valari symbols he barely understood. "You sure this thing can fly through a debris field?" he asked. "It can dance through one," she said, and her hands moved over the controls with calm precision. The ship darted forward, cutting through the swirling metallic fragments. Ethan watched her work, her focus absolute, her movements graceful. She didn't look like someone who had ever been uncertain in her life. He found himself studying her too long until she suddenly glanced at him. "Why are you staring, human?" He coughed. "Just wondering if this is normal for you, chasing pirates across a minefield before breakfast." Her lips twitched. "It keeps the day interesting." The scanners beeped. 3 red signals appeared ahead. Arya's eyes narrowed. "They're here." The raider ships turned as they detected them. Plasma fire streaked through space, lighting the dark void. Arya dodged sharply, the Varine's Light twisting and rolling. Ethan grabbed the seat arms, shouting, "You call this dancing?" She smiled slightly. "You're still alive, aren't you?" The ship shook as a blast grazed their hull. Warning lights blinked. Ethan looked at the readings. "Their power core is unstable. If they trigger it, this whole area goes up." "Then disable it," she said. "I can't from here. I'd need to board their ship. Then we'll get you close." He stared at her in disbelief. "You mean land on their ship while it's firing at us?" She nodded once. "Yes," Ethan took a deep breath. "You really don't do small favors, do you? Would you rather I accept your proposal and make you retire on Valor Prime?" She asked dryly. He froze for half a second, then laughed despite the chaos. "Let's finish this mission first, wife-to-be." Her expression flickered. Not annoyance this time, but something softer. Moments later, Arya maneuvered the ship directly over the raider's hull. The magnetic clamps engaged with a loud thud. The docking tunnel extended and sealed. Alarms screamed inside the pirate ship as they broke through. Ethan carried a small toolkit and a plasma torch, while Arya led the way with her glowing blade. The corridors were filled with smoke and the smell of burnt metal. Raiders shouted in the distance. They fought their way to the engine room. Ethan dropped to one knee beside the unstable reactor. They rerouted the containment field. "I can fix it, but I need time." "I'll hold them off," Arya said. Blaster fire echoed through the metal halls as she fought with quick, fluid motions, her blade flashing like a streak of lightning. Ethan focused, rerouting circuits, sparks flying across his visor. His heart raced as the energy readings began to drop. "Almost there. Just a few more seconds," he muttered. A raider lunged behind him, but Arya intercepted, her strike knocking the attacker back. She was breathing hard, energy flickering around her armor. "Ethan, now!" He slammed the final lever down. The reactor stabilized with a deep hum. The light shifted from red to green. "It's done," he shouted. Arya turned, lowering her weapon. "Good. Then we live another day." They made it back to the Varine's light and disengaged from the raider ship just before it imploded, sucked into the debris cloud. The stars ahead cleared and the calm of space returned. For a long moment, neither spoke. Then Arya looked at him. "You risked your life for people you barely know." "Why?" Ethan smiled faintly. "Because that's what humans do. We protect what's in front of us, even when it's not our fight." She looked away, but there was warmth in her eyes now. "Maybe that's why I didn't walk away last night," she whispered. He raised an eyebrow. "So, does that mean you accepted the proposal?" She turned to him slowly, a small, unreadable smile on. Her lips curved slightly. "Perhaps we are one now." The words hung between them, quiet and almost heavy. Ethan looked out the window again, not trusting himself to answer. He wasn't used to hearing sincerity from someone so controlled. When they landed, the station's commander, a broad-shouldered alien with gray scales, met them at the airlock. "The Valari Council thanks you both," he said formally. "But there is a problem." Ethan frowned. "What kind of problem?" The commander handed Arya a glowing data crystal. "Word of the humans' actions reached the Dominion. Some of your own council members believe you violated interspecies protocols by allowing a human to assist in combat. They've summoned you both to explain." Arya's jaw tightened. "They think I broke their law for saving lives?" "They think you formed an unauthorized bond," the commander said. Ethan blinked. "Bond? As in marriage," Arya finished quietly. Ethan almost laughed, but her serious face stopped him. "Wait, they actually think we're—" She nodded. "Valerie law interprets shared combat and life risk as a soul pact when one accepts words of bond." "You said the phrase first. I didn't reject it," he rubbed his face. "So I accidentally proposed and now your government thinks I'm your husband?" Her silver eyes met his. "That is correct." For a moment he didn't know whether to laugh or panic. "Arya, I swear on Earth we joke about things like that all the time." "Your people have very dangerous jokes," she said softly. They were given 24 hours to prepare for the hearing. Ethan spent most of that time pacing his room, trying to figure out what he would say to an alien council about accidentally proposing. Later that night, there was a gentle knock on his door. When he opened it, Arya stood there in formal robes, her usual armor replaced with a flowing silver fabric that shimmered like moonlight. Her hair, usually glowing faintly, was tied back in a calm braid. "I wanted to speak with you before we face them," she said. He stepped aside. "Come in, though if they already think we're married, this probably doesn't help my case." She ignored the comment and looked around his small quarters. The walls were covered with old Earth photos, oceans, cities, a faded picture of his home before the colonization wars. "You miss your world," she said quietly. "Yeah," he replied, "but it's far away now. Sometimes I think the stars swallowed it." She turned to him. "When I first met humans, I thought your kind was reckless. You faced danger with no plan, no armor, no fear. But now I understand, and it's not recklessness. It's hope." He met her gaze, feeling the sincerity in her words. "You make it sound like a good thing." "It is," she said. "The galaxy has forgotten hope. Maybe that's why you stand out." For a long moment, neither spoke. The quiet hum of the station filled the space between them. Then Arya said softly, "Ethan, if the council insists on the bond, I will not deny it." He blinked. "You mean you'd actually accept it?" She looked down. "Among my people, refusing a life bond that was made in battle is considered dishonor. And I don't wish to dishonor you." He didn't know what to say. 1,000 thoughts rushed through his mind, jokes, questions, disbelief, but none seemed right. So he simply said, "You really leave people speechless, you know that?" Her eyes lifted again, calm and bright. "Then maybe my answer matches your first words." The next day they stood together in the Valari High Chamber. The council members, tall and radiant, looked down from their seats. The hall shimmered with holographic light and golden mist. The head counselor spoke first. "Arya Valen, you are accused of forming an unregistered soul pact with a human of Sol origin. Do you deny this?" Arya's voice was steady. "No, I confirm it." A ripple of murmurs filled the chamber. Ethan felt his heart pound in his chest. "Wait, Arya," he whispered. But she raised her hand slightly, stopping him. The counselor's gaze shifted to Ethan. "Human, do you accept this bond, knowing it ties your life to hers under Valeri law?" Ethan looked at Arya. She wasn't smiling, but her eyes spoke. Calm, sure, waiting for his choice. He took a deep breath. "If it keeps us from being punished for saving lives, then yeah," he said softly. "I accept," the counselor nodded slowly. "So be it. By Valeri law, the bond is recognized. You are joined." Light spread around them, warm and shimmering. Ethan felt a pulse of energy move through his chest, almost like a heartbeat connecting to hers. Arya turned slightly, her voice calm but faintly emotional. "Now, human, the words you spoke have become truth." He looked at her, still stunned, and whispered, "I really did say you'd make a cute wife." "And I replied," she said quietly, "that you should be careful what you wish for." The chamber filled with light, sealing their fate before the galaxy's eyes. And in that moment, Ethan realized what began as a joke had just become a story the stars would never forget. The news of the human-Valeri bond spread across Helios 9 faster than any warning system could manage. Holocom screens in the station's corridors flashed with reports. Diplomats whispered in dozens of alien tongues, and soldiers paused mid-step, staring at the duo with disbelief. Ethan Cole walked beside Arya Valen through the bustling station, his steps hesitant. The weight of the Valeri Council's decision pressed on him more than any physical task he had ever performed. "Do they really expect us to act like a married couple now?" he asked quietly. Arya glanced at him, her silver eyes unreadable. "No, but appearances matter. The Council will watch our every move. The Galaxy will watch too," Ethan swallowed. "Galaxy-wide, just for saving their embassy?" "Yes," she said softly. "Humans are rare. A human standing beside a Valeri warrior in such a bond is unprecedented," he grimaced. "So we're celebrities now?" Arya smirked faintly. "Not celebrities, examples." Their first stop was the command deck, where Admiral Torvek awaited. The alien commander's tentacle-like arms gestured at the holographic map of the surrounding sectors. "The Corsan raiders may have fled, but their allies have learned of this. Partnership," he said. "We anticipate challenges in the outer rings." Ethan looked at Arya. "You mean more fights?" "Not just fights," she said, her voice steady. "Political maneuvers, intimidation, and perhaps attempts to humiliate us." He sighed. "Great. Just what I needed. Fame, responsibility, and enemies all at once." Arya paused, resting her hand on the console. "Human, you underestimate yourself. They will challenge you because they fear what humans can do when we are underestimated." Ethan frowned. "Fear me?" "Yes," she said firmly. "Your kind survives against odds that would destroy other species. And now you stand beside me." For the first time, Ethan felt a surge of pride. Humans had always been underestimated beyond Sul. Maybe this was why. Maybe the galaxy was beginning to see what humans could do. Before he could reply, a soft chime sounded from the console. Arya touched it and a holographic projection appeared. A human fleet approaching Helios 9. Ethan blinked. "Humans, what are they doing here?" "They came because of the bond," Arya explained. "News of a human surviving and forming a life pact with a Valeri warrior reached Earth. They are curious. Protective, perhaps." A wave of small ships emerged on the display. Ethan recognized some of the older models from training simulations on Earth. Their presence was reassuring. Arya turned to him. "You see, human? Even your people care. You are more valuable than you think." He looked at her, uncertain. "I feel like I'm in over my head." Her lips curved slightly. "You are, but it's what humans do." The day passed with briefings and meetings. Ambassadors from dozens of alien species approached, some respectful, others skeptical. Ethan answered their questions as best he could, careful to appear confident. Arya observed quietly, correcting misinterpretations with calm authority. Together they created a strange balance, human spontaneity and Valeri precision. Later in the quiet of the observation deck, Ethan leaned against the glass, watching distant stars. Arya stood beside him, silent. "You know," he said, "I never imagined I'd be considered important in a galaxy full of warriors and diplomats." "You are important," she replied simply. "Not because of your words, but because of what you represent. Humans survive. Humans endure. You remind others of that. He felt warmth in her voice, more comforting than any medal or recognition he had earned back home. And to think this all started with a joke. Arya glanced at him, her eyes shimmering. A joke that became truth. Perhaps we both underestimated what words could do. He chuckled softly. Then I guess we better be careful what we say next. A sudden alert interrupted the quiet. The station's sensors picked up unknown vessels moving quickly through the outer perimeter. Ethan tensed. Raider ships? Arya's posture stiffened. Not exactly. These ships bear no known insignia, but they are powerful, and they are coming here. Ethan swallowed hard. So more danger. Yes, she said, her voice calm. And this time they may test not just our skills but our bond. He looked at her, unsure what that meant. But the certainty in her eyes gave him courage. Then we face them together? Together, she confirmed, her hand brushing lightly against his arm. A small gesture, but full of meaning. Ethan felt a mix of fear and determination. The galaxy had just gotten bigger, more dangerous, and infinitely more fascinating. And for the first time he realized he wasn't just a human engineer or a wandering soldier. He was someone who mattered. Arya turned to the viewport, scanning the distant ships. They will learn soon enough that humans and Valerie together are not easy to defeat. Ethan nodded, standing beside her. For once, he didn't feel out of place among the stars. He felt like he belonged, and that perhaps the galaxy, with all its challenges and surprises, was ready to witness what humanity could truly achieve. As the unknown fleet approached, the hum of the station seemed to pulse in anticipation. Ethan looked at Arya. So, this is just the beginning? She smiled faintly, a hint of mischief and certainty in her silver eyes. The beginning, human, and perhaps the start of a legend. And together, they prepared to face the galaxy, united, unyielding, and unstoppable. The unknown fleet loomed on the edge of the Helios 9 system, silent and ominous. Ethan Cole stood beside Arya Valen on the observation deck of the Varine's Light, watching as dozens of sleek ships glinted in the distance. Their shapes were unfamiliar, angular and fast-moving, radiating a quiet menace. They don't match any known designs, Ethan muttered, studying the holographic sensors. Could be a new pirate faction. Or something worse. Arya's silver eyes narrowed. Something worse is more likely. They have coordinated formation, energy shields, and no communication signals. Whoever they are, they've come for a fight. Ethan ran a hand through his hair. And we're supposed to stop them? She gave a small, serious smile. We're not alone. Your human fleet is arriving, but it will still test us. You and me together. He swallowed hard. Together? Yes, she said calmly. This bond is not just symbolic. It represents trust, teamwork, and unity. If we falter, it could be disastrous. Ethan nodded, trying to push his fear aside. All right, then let's do this. The bridge hummed with energy as the Varine's Light moved into position, flanked by human interceptors. Ethan took the co-pilot console, guiding the smaller ships toward optimal firing angles while Arya commanded the main ship. The unknown fleet suddenly accelerated, their weapons glowing red. The first salvo hit the outer perimeter, sending sparks flying through space. Ethan's console beeped urgently. Shields at 50%. Arya's hands moved quickly over her controls. Divert power to front shields. Fire plasma turrets when ready. Watch for decoys. Ethan's pulse raced. He had handled machinery under stress before, but coordinating with live ships in battle was a different challenge. They're splitting into 3 groups. 2 are flanking us. Arya's lips pressed into a thin line. Then we split our forces. You guide the human squadron to intercept the flanks. I'll handle the center. He swallowed again, gripping the console. Got it, engaging the flanks. The human interceptors swerved, dodging blasts as Ethan issued commands. Alpha Squadron, move left. Beta, cut right. Keep pressure on their shields. Arya's ship leapt forward, weaving through the central enemy group. Her blade weapon hummed, deflecting plasma strikes with flashes of silver light. Focus fire on the lead vessel, she shouted. Ethan's hands moved fast, rerouting power to the squadron's guns. Target locked. Fire in 3, 2, 1. Explosions lit the void as one of the unknown ships erupted, debris scattering into the void. The enemy seemed to hesitate as if surprised by the coordinated attack. Ethan glanced at Arya. You see that? They're pulling back a little. Arya's silver eyes glimmered. Good, keep them pressured. Remember, they test for weakness, not strength. Ethan nodded, his confidence growing. The human ships responded well to his directions, moving like a well-oiled machine. They're falling back. I think we've got the upper hand. Suddenly, one of the unknown ships broke formation and charged directly at the Varine's light. Ethan gasped. Arya, front approach! They're heading for you. Arya's hands moved with precision, dodging the incoming strike. Hold steady. They're trying to draw me out. Ethan's heart pounded as he noticed a pattern in their movements. I see it. They're baiting us. If I guide the interceptors to their rear, we can trap them. Arya nodded without turning. Do it, human. I trust you. Ethan issued the commands. Alpha and Beta squadrons moved like shadows, surrounding the unknown fleet from behind. A series of well-timed attacks disabled the enemy ship's engines. One by one they fell, drifting into space as silent wrecks. Arya exhaled, leaning back slightly in her seat. Impressive. You handled that well. Ethan's chest heaved, sweat forming on his brow. We did it. Together. For the first time, he felt a bond that went beyond words, a connection forged in danger and trust. Arya looked at him, her silver eyes softening. You were brave, human. Not reckless, but brave. He swallowed, feeling a mix of pride and embarrassment. Thanks. I guess I'm starting to understand what you meant about humans being underestimated. Arya's lips curved faintly. You reminded me why hope exists. You and your people endure. That's something the galaxy can't ignore. Ethan looked at the battlefield beyond the viewport where disabled ships floated silently. And to think it all started with me joking about you being a cute wife. Arya's smile widened slightly. Perhaps your joke was more powerful than you realized. The human fleet gathered around them, signals of approval flashing across the hollow consoles. Ethan felt a surge of warmth. For the first time, he wasn't just a human in the galaxy. He was someone who mattered, someone whose actions could change the course of events. Arya placed a hand on his shoulder briefly, light, reassuring, and intimate in a way that surprised him. The Council will take notice of our success today. They will speak highly of you. Ethan chuckled, shaking his head. I don't know if I want fame. I just want to keep surviving. She looked at him with quiet determination. Then survive we will, together. Outside, the stars glimmered, calm and infinite. Inside, Ethan realized that what had started as a joke had grown into a partnership, tested by fire, strengthened by trust and destined to leave a mark on the galaxy. And for the first time, he felt ready for whatever came next. The victory over the unknown fleet had not gone unnoticed. Back at Helios 9, the council chamber was buzzing with whispers. Alien diplomats, some friendly and others suspicious, exchanged comments on the unusual human-Valeri bond. Ethan Cole and Arya Valen were summoned once more, this time not for combat but for scrutiny. Ethan shifted uneasily beside Arya as they entered the chamber. Alien eyes, sharp and calculating, followed their every move. Some seemed impressed, others doubtful. Ethan felt like a small child standing among giants. The head counselor, a tall Valeri with eyes like molten gold, spoke first. You have demonstrated bravery and skill. Yet the union between a human and a Valeri warrior is unprecedented. There are those among us who question your judgment. Arya's gaze was unwavering. The human saved lives. Together, we prevented disaster. What judgment is required beyond that? Ethan swallowed, feeling the weight of her words. I only followed what I knew. We were trying to protect people, the council murmured. Some nodded, others shook their heads. One ambassador, a slender being with violet skin, raised a tentacle-like arm. And yet Valeri law requires caution. The bond is more than ceremony. It can influence politics, trade, even war. Arya stepped forward, her voice calm but commanding.
Then let it influence only for good.
Humans endure, adapt, and rise against odds. That is why I chose to stand with him and why I trust him. Ethan blinked. He had never seen her speak with such authority, and it made his chest swell with pride. The council fell silent. A human envoy arrived from Earth soon after. They greeted Ethan with enthusiasm and respect, a reminder that he was not alone in this vast galaxy. You've proven humans can make a difference, said the envoy. Your courage is inspiring. Ethan felt a surge of warmth. He had always believed humans were underestimated, but here, among the stars, that perception was beginning to change. Yet not all reactions were positive. Some factions whispered about the dangers of such a bond. seeing a human paired with a Volari warrior as a challenge to their own influence. Rumors began circulating about secret plans to test, manipulate, or even sabotage the human. Arya noticed Ethan's concern. "Ignore the whispers. Let us prove our worth through action, not fear." Ethan nodded, but the unease lingered. For the first time, he realized that being in the galaxy wasn't just about surviving battles. It was about surviving politics, too. The next day, they were called to the training grounds. A series of simulations awaited them, designed to test their coordination, strategy, and resilience. Arya and Ethan worked together, moving in sync. "Human, step to my left," she instructed during one simulation. Ethan followed, guiding a squad of drones through Obsti. "Ackles." "Got it," he replied. "Intercept that ship before it reaches the station," she said, pointing at the holographic projection. Ethan adjusted controls. Engaging now. Their teamwork was seamless. Arya's precision and strategy combined with Ethan's quick thinking and improvisation. One by one, the drones neutralized threats. Observers whispered in admiration. After the exercise, they stood on the observation platform. Ethan's chest heaved with exhaustion. "You know, I never imagined myself coordinating an entire defense with an alien warrior beside me." Arya smiled faintly. "You adapt quickly. That is why I trusted you." Ethan glanced at her, unsure if he should speak. "You know, back on Earth, no one would believe this story. Human and Volari, saving lives, bonding under dangerous circumstances. They'd call it impossible." "Impossible exists only until someone dares," she said quietly. Their eyes met, and for a moment, the world fell away. Ethan felt a strange connection, deeper than friendship or camaraderie. The bond they shared wasn't just about law or tradition. It was built on trust, respect, and shared experience. The calm was broken by an urgent alert. A scouting vessel reported movement near the outer rim of the system. Unknown ships approaching rapidly. Ethan's pulse quickened. "Not again. Can't we catch a break?" Arya's eyes gleamed with determination. "No rest in the galaxy, human. But this is our chance to show the Council, and those watching, that we are capable together." He nodded. "Then let's move, together." As they prepared for the incoming ships, Ethan felt something he hadn't before. Confidence. With Arya by his side, he wasn't just a human in a galaxy of powerful aliens. He was a force to be reckoned with, and as the fleet drew near, he realized the truth of what the Volari had said earlier. Humans survive. Humans endure. And humans, when united with trust and courage, could change the course of the stars. For the first time, Ethan didn't just hope they would survive. He believed they would thrive, and Arya, beside him, shared that belief. Her silver eyes bright with determination, ready to face whatever challenge the galaxy sent next. The unknown fleet advanced, dark silhouettes against the endless stars. Ethan Cole and Arya Valen stood together on the bridge of the Varine's light, their hands brushing briefly on the controls, a silent promise of trust. "Human," Arya said softly. "This will test everything. Our skill, our bond, our strategy." Ethan nodded, gripping the console. "Then let's show them what humans can do. Together." The enemy ships suddenly split, some moving directly toward the station, others flanking the human fleet. Ethan's pulse raced. "They're trying the same trick as before, distraction and division." "Then we adapt," Arya said calmly. Her eyes glimmered silver, reflecting the lights of the approaching vessels. "We'll use unity as our strength." Ethan adjusted the coordinates, guiding the human ships alongside the Varine's light. "All units, maintain formation. Watch the flanks." The battle erupted with light and energy. Plasma streaked across the void, hitting shields with sparks and loud vibrations. Ethan shouted commands, directing drones and interceptors to intercept enemy attacks. Arya moved like a blade through the chaos, her weapon deflecting strikes and dismantling enemy drones with precision. For a moment, the enemy seemed unstoppable. Ethan's console beeped urgently. The outer fleet had breached the first layer of human defenses. "Focus fire on the lead ships," Arya said. "Draw them toward the center. Trap them." Ethan's fingers flew over the console, diverting power. "Engaging now." The human fleet responded instantly, guided by Ethan's quick calculations. Interceptors flanked the lead enemy vessels while the Varine's light moved like a phantom through the middle. Arya's blade swept in arcs of silver light, disabling weapons and forcing retreating maneuvers. Ethan glanced at her. You really make this look easy. She gave a small, fierce smile. You make the impossible seem possible, human. Together we are stronger. The enemy regrouped, forming a last desperate formation. Ethan felt his heart pound. This is it. Final push. Then we end it together, Arya said, her voice steady. Trust me, and I will trust you. Ethan took a deep breath, thinking of Earth, of humanity, of everything that had led him to this moment. I trust you, Arya nodded. Then let's go. They moved as one. Ethan guided the fleet through precise maneuvers, anticipating enemy attacks. Arya struck with deadly accuracy, dismantling the remaining ships one by one. Sparks and debris filled space as each vessel exploded in silent bursts. Finally, the last enemy ship attempted a direct assault on the station. Ethan's eyes widened. It's heading straight for Helios 9. Arya's hand rested briefly on his arm. I've got this. Cover me. With a swift, fluid motion, she launched herself toward the enemy vessel, disabling its engines with a precise strike from her blade. The ship drifted powerless and was quickly captured by human interceptors. The battlefield fell silent. Stars twinkled normally again. The human fleet formed around the station, shields intact. Ethan let out a long breath. We did it? Arya turned to him, her expression unreadable for a moment, then softened. Yes, and the galaxy has seen it. Humans are not to be underestimated. Not you, not your kind. Ethan shook his head, still catching his breath. I never thought a simple joke would lead to this. Saving the embassy, fighting fleets, and now recognition. Arya's silver eyes gleamed. What started as a joke became truth. You and I, humans and Valari, we proved something important. That courage and trust can change the stars. He smiled faintly. I guess I underestimated you too. Perhaps, she said softly. But now you understand. Survival is not just skill or technology. It is heart, determination, and the bonds we create. Ethan looked at her, feeling a mix of awe and respect. So, does this mean the joke about being a cute wife turned into something real? Her lips curved into a small, genuine smile. Yes, a bond formed by words, tested in fire, and strengthened by trust. You are no longer just a human engineer, Ethan Cole. You are my partner, equal in danger, in strategy, and in honor. Ethan felt a warmth in his chest, a mix of pride, relief, and something more he hadn't named. Then I'll do my best. To match you, to survive, to protect. Arya's hand brushed his briefly, a spark of silent agreement. Together, she said. As the human fleet and Valari forces celebrated their victory, Ethan realized something profound. Humans, though often underestimated, had a place among the stars. They could survive impossible odds, inspire allies, and even stand shoulder to shoulder with the most skilled warriors in the galaxy. And with Arya by his side, he felt unstoppable. The stars stretched infinitely beyond the viewport, but for the first time, Ethan didn't feel small. He felt part of something larger, a legacy of courage, trust, and the unyielding spirit of humanity. Arya looked at him, her eyes reflecting the stars. The galaxy will remember today, human, and perhaps they will remember you too. Ethan laughed softly. I don't know about the galaxy, but I'll remember it. And you. She tilted her head slightly, a quiet acknowledgement of the bond they shared. Then let us move forward, human. Together, nothing can stop us. The Varine's light lifted from the station, ready to explore the vast expanse of space. Ethan stood beside Arya, watching the stars streak past, feeling a sense of purpose and pride he had never known before. A joke had begun it, a battle had tested it, and now a bond had proven itself stronger than any weapon, any fleet, or any law. And in the quiet hum of the ship, Ethan realized he was exactly where he belonged. Together, human and Valari, they would face the galaxy, and humanity would shine brighter than anyone had imagined.